Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor. Today I'm going to go into Halloween collectibles and show you some of what sells for the Halloween season and the type of items that I look for. As I've said in other videos, you need to be getting your Halloween stuff out and ready to go right now. You need to have everything up by like September 1st. Literally, that's when sales start to come in for Halloween for the collectibles area. And there's tons of stuff that show up all across the gambit. It's not just necessarily Halloween vintage decorations, but Halloween other items like statuary, figures, sheet music, books, even some magazines with Halloween content sell for us during this time of year. But we're going to go over to the screen and I'm going to show you some Halloween today. So today is Halloween. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to show you the basics here. I only count Halloween that's in the collectibles. I never worry about Halloween items anywhere else. If I'm going to list something that's in Halloween, for the most part, I'm going to list it in holiday and seasonal. There is a Halloween section. Postcards may be different. If it's a Halloween postcard, I list it in the postcard section. And then also in my own personal store, my anchor store, we have a holiday section and a postcard section and even a collectibles section, all three separate sections. I'll double list them in my store because there's no extra charge for that. And I'll put them in the holiday section and the postcard section if it's a postcard. But overall sold, we have about 120,000, we'll say, or that's ended anyway, not sold, that's ended. So that's what's ended. Let's switch this to highest first. So 120,000. Of those, 42,000, just over 42,000 of those sold. So it's like a 35-36% sell-through rate for the category. That necessarily doesn't mean a whole lot because if you get the right items, they're always going to sell. This includes costumes and giveaways and promos and life-size figures. Even somebody threw a mad scientist pipe in here that went for like $2,000 almost. It's just the brand name here. This is a little odd. I don't know why that would sell that high, but maybe it's some rare item. I guess so. Here's another one, the same thing. It's probably like the very first issue of those, and Halloween's like mad crazy. Everybody's into Halloween. Something like this. This is the best thing you'd want to find, is something like this. Anything that's oddball, that's black cats, that's funky colors, that's made like this, anything. This is like a 5 and dime store. That's why you only see yellow on one side, because it's just like a cheapo toy. Would have came with candy, maybe even. And this is just a cheapo item at the time. Again, 5 and dime, $1,200. You have to kind of generalize look this way to kind of distinguish what's there when you're first starting off. There's a company name I'll show you in just a minute here that always sells. It's just a really killer item here, so the stuff that they make. Let's go back over here for just a second. We're not going to worry about the unsold items, you know, the ones that just ended. We know it's a decent category, so let's just clear those off and let's look at the sold items here. Now, like costumes and stuff, anything that says Ben Cooper is usually good. I've had jigglers with Ben Cooper on them. I've had masks with Ben Cooper. Every one of those sells. But today I'm really more interested in some of the odder items like these paper mache jack-o'-lanterns, candy dishes, or candle holders. These are all sellable. I buy every one of those I get. Even some of these oddball, this is, I think, like a foam rubber. I've had some of these, and I've sold them in the $100, $150 range for the small ones. This is a big one. These are just like squishy foam, like almost a sponge textured pumpkin. These are new even. Those are from the 80s. And masks and things like that. But let's not worry about those today. Everybody knows stuff like that sells around Halloween. At least I would hope you would. We're going to type in a name. Beastly. Now this is the company. I might be pronouncing it wrong. I am not sure. But everything by this company, paper-wise, seems to sell very high. Even little tiny ones that are only a couple inches tall. Now, you can look up how many were up and didn't sell, but for the most part, these sell extremely well. The witches, the oddball items, the bigger they are, the better they are, even with damage. Now, this is one of those that opens up, and it's got the honeycomb in here. It's probably like a honeycomb kettle that she was stirring. Yeah, honeycomb ball, as is. Now, this can just be re-glued. You know, these are easily repaired, and I mean easily. These jointed figures always sell. I've had the skeletons and all of those pumpkins and stuff I sell. Every one of those I get. You can kind of see as you go down, there's a ton of these. This is like a centerpiece and a game. I've had that one before. There's just so many items in the Halloween category that we look for. Any of these die cuts will sell. There's games as well. This is a game. There's 2 or 3 different games like this. They all sell. Box decoration sets. Now, I've never run across this whole set. This person would have probably gotten 2 or 3 times that if they would have put it up for a higher starting price. Again, that's what I see a lot of times. People put too low of a starting price as a buy it now to start with, and that kind of kills them off the bat. This isn't going to be a long one today. This is what you need to look for. As I've said in other videos, this is the time to buy all these stuff. This actually might be an invitation then, because this just doesn't look like it's going that high for what I see. Maybe I'll look into that later, but anyway. All these Halloween stuff. You can see any of these little cutouts. I'm surprised they didn't. This person here would have done better if they would have probably separated those, I would think. Probably around 35 to 40 bucks for each one of those figures I would have gotten out of those. But that's that. This one here, I've had, I don't know, a dozen of these or better in the last, say, year or two alone. So, you know, all these kind of items here sell. This is what you're looking for. These are the keys here, or the candle, the light up paper mache. Let's go back in and just do a couple other ones. Halloween paper mache. And we'll just show you just a few other items here. We're not going to, again, go into huge detail because these aren't going to show up everywhere, but right now is the time to get them. These people are getting rid of these at their garage sales. They're moving, whatever the case may be. All of these paper items sell. The odder, the better. All the skulls sell. I've got a couple pumpkin candle holders. These are actually made to walk around. A kid would hold these, and a little tiny, like a tea-style candle would be at the base of these. Some of them even have a little indentation where the candle would go. And they'd have paper eyes that would light up like here. It's just literally a sheet of translucent paper that are the eyes in these. And then they would light up as the kids walked. I don't know how these ever got by sensors, but I guess back then they didn't worry. This is typically what you see. These right here. This one has a lid on it. That one's pretty neat, actually. The devil ones always sell. All the little toy and candy containers sell. There's figures like this that are actually just candy containers. The odder the better. Like this one here is pretty cool. I have this one right this second. Actually, I have a better version of it. It's got better eyes, but that's the kind of stuff you look for. They always sell. All the figures, all the nodders, all the candy containers like this sell. And we'll just show you one more. Again, spend some time researching this. I only show you the basics. I'm not going to give you every single detail. If you're not willing to invest a few more minutes into looking this up, just move on, I think, at this point, because you're not going to get the good stuff. You're just not spending enough time or energy into it. And that's how I've talked about, you know, why I can give some of this information away, because so many people will just give up. They'll look a couple times, they won't find the items, and they'll just think they're just not available, and, you know, hey, this guy don't know what he's talking about. But they are here. There's hundreds of different people finding these kind of items at sales right this very second. A lot of people don't know that these are worth money. Like these pumpkins just look like some piece of junk for the most part. They can be damaged, they can have issues with them, the paper can be missing, they can miss the wire, everything can be wrong with it, and they will still sell. These can be repaired. It's just made out of paper and paint. That is literally it. Even these little small candy containers sell. Anything like this. This one I've got a couple of too. And again, I'm putting them up right this very second. All the items we got, we hunted around, we got what we could find, and we started to put them up. They will be gone. These sell all year round, but they sell better starting into the end of this month and next month. One more area that is key. Postcards, I will probably just type in real quick and we'll just show you just how many there are. But die cuts, that's the other area that you're going to see. Or decorations. Decorations is the other key word you need to look for. So Halloween decorations, vintage Halloween decorations, vintage Halloween die cuts, or just Halloween die cuts. All of these sell. Figures will sell again, as I said. These show up quite often. These are early. These are Denison. Denison is another company besides the Beastly. I've had this skeleton too. Now this shows up quite often because it's almost indistinguishable from the newer ones other than the mark on the back. So look for the marks on the back. Just an FYI insider on that. Most of the Beastly items are marked. Most of the Denizen items are marked. When you see them marked Germany, those are good, or Bavaria, or even UK, I've seen a few marked. This set here I've had many times. This set you'll run into too in boxes at garage sales. They're 50s or 60s. They sell all the time as well. Well, I'll take that back. There's some that go back. Lures is Denizen Lures. Some of these go back to the 20s, but there's tons of these that you can find all the way up into the 30s or up into the 70s and 80s. Same with these. They recreated them, so they are available. But again, just take some time and look through these. You'll see lanterns. You can type in Halloween lantern. If you type in pumpkin lantern, let's do one more thing before we do pumpkin lantern. Let's do postcard, and I'm just going to show you how many there are. Let's see here. There's a ton of them. You know, there's almost 3,700 for Halloween. And this is why, this is the sold ones, not the ones that were listed. This is just sold. So any of these Halloween subjects sell. And that's kind of the range and why I picked doing some of these Halloween postcards myself, because the ratio of sales on neat imagery on postcards sells. This is one of my competitors, or a gentleman that sells as well. He does way more than me. He's way more into it. He's got far better grouping of designs than I do. So, you know, there are other people that do what I do and do still make money. His sell for a lot higher than mine. These are hand-painted, though, too. So, you know, I guess that's close to what my hand-painted... Yeah, that's about what my hand-painted sell for. So I've sold them in the 150, 160 range in the past. I actually like some of his cards, so no diss to the guy. I don't know who he is, never met him. I've dealt with somebody who's bought some of my cards who does do business with this gentleman too, so seems like he's a decent guy. I wouldn't mind talking to him someday. But that's postcards, and let's show you one more. Let's type in tin. Now there's some pumpkins, and I've never ran into any. Well, that's not going to give us where we want to go. Either that or there's not any available. But let's look in... let's type in Jack-o'-lantern and tin, and let's see what I get there. Nope, that's not giving me... let's type in lantern then. I may not see where I'm going. Let me see here. Let's see if we can find any of these. We're back into this. There's a, maybe I'm not looking, yeah, this has got to be, maybe there's another category. Let's do this, just for this one item here. Geez, that's not here either. Let's type in tin and then Halloween here. I'm trying to find a specific item to show you something that shows up very rarely, but they do show up. I'm still not getting it. Lantern, let's just type in lantern here. Nope, that's still not what we're looking for. One other area that I don't seem to find is a tin or metal pumpkin that would have been held on a stick. They're circa 1890s. It's like almost a life-size pumpkin. Geez, I wish I could show you some. Let's do a Google search. Tin Victorian pumpkin lantern, and let's see if I can find a couple. Yeah, I see some here. Okay, now here they are. These are the other items that I wanted to show you. Apparently there's none available on eBay right this minute because it should have shown up if they weren't. There might be a one that's not ended, but for the most part, this is what we're talking about. It's going to be tin. It's going to be have holes in it, or it'll have like a mount piece at the top and a mount piece at the bottom. This is solid tin, handmade for the most part, and these would have been carried around from town to town back in the like 1890s, 1910, 1920 era. Even before that sometimes. I've seen some that have been dated in the 1880s. You won't find them with all of this paint on them. Let me get rid of the word tin and see if we come up with some more. No, that really doesn't help us too much. But let's just zoom in on one specific one here. This is what you're looking for. Sometimes they're metal rods, sometimes they're wood or tin, and there's many different styles and sizes. Here's one that's kind of ratted out. Some of these are made out of steel. This one actually looks like here. For the most part, well, this, I guess that could still be tin with the rusting from the coating on them. But this is another item. In the other, this is from October 2015. This one says it's sold for $1,400. So this alone is usually the most expensive vintage Halloween item that you can find. This is it. Other than this, it's going to be costumes or things along that line. I'm talking about specifically decorations or usable items. And this is usually the oldest item you will find. These are Victorian era. But this is something you want to look for. If you don't know what it is or you think it's just junk, it's all rusted out, even rusted. This one still has some speckling of paint, and it still went for $1,400 in 2015. This category does not go down. So if it was $1,400 in 2015, it's probably like $2,400 right now. And again, as you just saw, we tried to find them on eBay. There aren't any that have ended in the last, 90 days or so. So this is the last item that I'm going to show you on Halloween. Spend some time looking up Halloween decorations. Spend some time, looking up the die cuts, looking up the Beastly, looking up the Denizen, all the other companies and stuff in that section. Look up die cuts, as I said. And you're going to see some tremendously high-priced items in this field. This is what you need to be looking for. You need to be aware that these go for this kind of money and what types of items they are. So I would recommend you going into some of the listings for the die cuts, for the Denizen items, for the Beastly items and stuff, the lanterns, the paper mache items, and seeing close-up details on them so you can kind of get a gist on what you are looking for. That's the key to Halloween, the items we've just showed you right now. It's going to take you a little more time just to look into some other items, the variations and the coloring and, what other items they are, the size of the items and such forth. But that's what I have for you today. Well, there you have it. Again, that's just a little touch on the Halloween category. There's a ton more involved in Halloween. There's all kinds of different items that I didn't even touch base on for Halloween, costumes and other, decorations like that. But the part that I more look into and try to find, as you've seen, are the paper items and the collectibles and the items that would sit up on the wall and things like that. But that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas. If you liked the video, please hit the like button below. You can also hit the bell icon up top to be notified when I post new videos. Watch, subscribe, and tell a friend.